picked up by the next to last man through at the 44-yard line.
Oh, he hit the deck hard. He just did not have his leap timed well. And Miller is still down. Let's take a look here. He saw the seam and he was going full speed. Had he gotten by this guy, there was no way anybody was going to get to him. He was tapped right on the knee there, though, and we'll have to wait and see if this is a knee injury.
Man.
It looks pretty substantive. He is down.
Jason Miller, the key to everything for the Mahnomen Indians. Not that they are a one-back team by any means, but nonetheless, they have been a lot this year. Now he's up, but let's see about the Mankato Loyola player. They've got a player down too.
And that's the guy that made the tackle, I believe.
I think it was, and what a job to do for the team. He looked like he was launching himself at a tackling sled, and but for that, saved the touchdown. We'll try and identify who it is when we come back. Early in the half, 21-0 Mahnomen. This is Aaron Fogel, the kicker, who stops a sure touchdown run by Jason Miller and pays for it. But for that, Miller is out of here, and Aaron Fogel is only just now being helped up off, and he is not in good shape. Being helped to the sidelines. He's their kicker. He averaged 42 on kickoffs coming into this game. It was a 35-yard return and almost a whole bunch more. But Fogel is hurting, and interestingly enough, Loyola's closest call in the playoffs was the quarterfinal game against Chatfield. They were trailing 8-6, but they got a big drive going, and Fogel got the game-winning field goal with 21 seconds left in the game. It's 1st and 10 Mahnomen at the Indian 45-yard line. They pile it across the line of scrimmage, but don't get much farther than that before Jeremy Olson, the defensive left guard, hauls him down. A gain of maybe a yard on the play.
Here comes Miller back in the lineup. He had gone out too, a little bit shaken with that helmet right on the knee area. So hopefully it was just a bruise, at least from Mahnomen's standpoint.
Yeah.
And Fogel, he really made contact in there solidly. I mean, Miller was running hard. Looked like a concussion type of injury for Fogel.
Yeah, they've got the doctor down there looking at him on the bench right now. Big pursuit by the radar defense of the Mankato Loyola Crusaders, and that's all stacked up behind the line of scrimmage for the loss. The doctor now checking exactly that. They're going to check your vision, check for possible concussion there. That's Fogel, Aaron Fogel, the kicker. And I'll tell you, Fogel launched himself, and you saw it on the replay, and absolutely saved a scorching touchdown run by Miller, which would have put this game out of reach, I think, emotionally, if not numerically, even at that point. Slot to the right, 3rd and 11.
Ooh.
And again, the radar defense swarms. And Jim, you were saying it's up to that radar to create those opportunities, even to create turnovers. Todd Simonette led the way. We got to say that because his old man's the spotter anyway.
And even when they stop him, they've been unable to force that turnover. I mean, Loyola needs a big play defensively to get them back in it. But to Mahnomen's credit, when they're not moving, they're not dropping the ball, and they're keeping the other club off the scoreboard.
Only one punt so far in the game, and that's been a 40-some yarder by Newman. Well, he gets a good launcher on that one. Matt Rogers had it sail over his head, and it'll be... I don't think he's going to get away with that one, but finally grounded by Alan Hodek. And Loyola gets the ball deep in its own territory when we come back. 9:52 to go in the 3rd quarter. Class C championship game at the Metrodome. Mahnomen 21, Mankato Loyola nothing. And a big series here for the Mankato Loyola Crusaders could make this a game right again.
A long way to go. Sistrunk will be the man. He's their chief ball carrier. Had over 100 yards in the semifinal game.
Colin Rognus, the quarterback, from his own 13-yard line. Sistrunk pulling his way down to the 14 or 15. Chad Sweet, the linebacker, number 62, piled him up there. Gain of a couple on the play as the clock runs inside 10.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. It's interesting, Jeff Darlene thought this was going to be a rebuilding year for the Loyola Crusaders, and when you look across their line, they've got a whole bunch of folks coming back next year, including Colin Rognus, their quarterback, Matacek, the fullback, and several members of their offensive line. Rockets that one well wide of Troy Donahue, the running back on the right side, incomplete, and it'll be 3rd down and 9.
Well, Newman, the big defensive end, was in single coverage that time. It looked like if Rognus could have lofted the ball just a little bit and let Donahue run under it.
You're hearing, incidentally, is the exhortations of the Mankato Loyola bench. That's what that is.
Do it, Blue.
Tag team action tonight. 9:06 to go, 3rd down and 9.
He did sound like
Here's
that.
Rognus. He did. Launching the double coverage, and it is picked off and almost intercepted. And I mean right into double coverage. Spaeth was there to bat it down. Alan Hodak was right there with him. Spaeth, the one who got the paw on it.
Similar play to the one we saw Kohlers bring down in the first half on their first drive, but this time John Koch trying to go over the top, had the defenders in front of him and could not make the play. Good defense on the part of Mahnomen, and the Crusaders will have to kick the ball.
From 4th and 9, this is going to put a long shag on it here, and we'll see how they will do.
Is that Fogel?
Sistrunk is going to punt. Fogel is still on the bench.
Okay.
Sistrunk shanks one down to the 43-yard line, picked up there by Jamie Troutner, cuts to the 35 and wrestled out of bounds at the 30-yard line. No, they sent Mike Sistrunk out for the punt because Aaron Fogel, who has been Mr. Special Teams for him, is still on the sidelines and roughed up after stopping that almost touchdown return.
Take a look again at Troutner on that line drive punt. Those are the kind that can be returned. He gets to the outside, gets 10 yards back. And Mahnomen has great field position here as they try to put this game away.
Now 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line when we come back. That is Aaron Fogel on the bench of the Mankato Loyola Crusaders. Roughed up, trying to keep him from scoring, keep Miller from scoring. He has been Mr. Special Teams. 22 PAT kicks, 1 2-point conversion, 2 field goals, and a safety. 32 points coming into this game. Miller open, but they'll get him inside the 15-yard line, but he really draws a crowd, doesn't he? 3 different guys ganged up to haul Miller down on that play. Matt Rogers and Joel Koenigs, the 2 defensive ends there.
Looked like he's moving a little more gingerly after that big contact play with Fogel that started the half, but a quick step to the outside there, and now he's trying to gather himself to split some tackles, but there were just too many blue shirts there. But he does get 15 yards, and that's Miller's first significant run since the big play where he and Fogel ran into each other.
1st and 10 at the Loyola 14-yard line, up the middle across the 10 and to the 9-yard line. Bellinger, the fullback, carrying the ball that time. Eric Bellinger, 5'11", 190 senior, stopped by Mike Sistrunk and Todd Simonet.
Just a quick off-the-ball surge, and then from that standing position, it's tough to get any leverage for the Crusaders, and they're blown back, and 5 quick yards for Mahnomen.
7:54 to go in the 3rd quarter. 21-0 Mahnomen. 2nd down. 8-yard line. Touchdown for Eric Bellinger, his 2nd touchdown of the game on a 6-yard run, and Mahnomen with 7:45 to go in the 3rd quarter has struck again.
Well, this is not what Mankato Loyola needed here at the start of the half. They needed to make a big play, but to Mahnomen's credit, they're the ones who come out with the drive, and Bellinger, I should say, takes it in for his 2nd score of the game. He also scored on a similar play to end the first half. And really, Miller's kickoff return was significant because it got them out to midfield, and they have had the field position. They kicked after they couldn't move on the first possession. Loyola was pinned deep, really couldn't do much with it, and had to punt. Excellent field position again for Mahnomen. They start the drive from their own 30-yard line and finish it off quickly to move away in front. Just 1 minute and 3 seconds from the change of possession.
31 yards in 3 plays. The 6-yard run by Bellinger, the kick by Callbaugh, and with 7:45 to go in the third quarter, now it's Mahnomen 28 and Mankato Loyola nothing. Each of these teams ended the regular season with identical 48-0 scores in their games, but there was a big difference. Mahnomen won its game against Frazee. Loyola lost to LeSueur Henderson 48-0. It was a shocker, but their players said, hey, sometimes those games just happen. We just move on, and move on they did, and sailed right on in here with 2 more wins. This is, again, Aaron Fogel, the kicker for the Mankato Loyola Crusaders, who single-handedly saved a touchdown by Jason Miller, which would, at this point, have made it probably about 36 or 37, or about 34 or 35 rather, to nothing. Now it's 28-0.
This guy's got a good leg. Boom, into the
end zone for the touchback in front of Troy Donahue. No return there, as Mark Callbaugh gave it a good long ride, and that was a whopper for Callbaugh.
Surprised you mentioned he doesn't have any field goals. Of course, they've dominated enough where they haven't had to kick one, but he's got a leg enough for a long field goal attempt.
Loyola has tried a couple, and both of them were good by Fogel during the season, incidentally. 7:45 to go third quarter, 28-0 Mahnomen. Mankato Loyola, 1st and 10 at its own 20-yard line. Rognus on the fake draw, hands off to the first man through. And Jaeger will come in there to put the stop on Mike Sistrunk, who had 1,020 yards as of halftime, and now has a few more.
Do it! We want this one! Score! Come on!
Well, we want this, fellas. Let's do it!
Some players a little more vocal than others. Mike Kennedy, junior linebacker.
2nd down and 6. Good penetration by the Mahnomen defense. And a loss on the play of maybe a yard. Chris Newman, the defensive end, a 6'5", 215 senior, led the way. I mentioned their DNs are both big guys. Kyle Lacey's at 6'3", although he's under 2. No lack of attitude on the Loyola bench. Very much into this game, and nobody there thinks this is over. Deline said in the locker room, if you think it's over, don't even come out. Sistrunk. Berge makes the stop with 6:35 to go in the third quarter. It's 28-0, Mahnomen leading Mankato Loyola.
That play was just a shade away from being a big yardage play for Sistrunk. They had the flow going the opposite way, trying to trap those Mahnomen players. Had them moving upfield, but they were able to arm tackle Sistrunk and prevent a substantial gain, and now punt formation again. And without your regular kicker, this can become significant, as we saw in the last series.
Jamie Troutner is back to receive.
And
almost blocked as Sistrunk just got it away. A mortar shot that'll be down at the 47-yard line.
Didn't look like there was any way they could miss blocking it.
Boy, I don't know how they did miss it, but very nearly did on excellent penetration as they just get it off.
And when they know that the backup punter is in there, Sistrunk, they come at him hard, and you can see there, number 58, Dwayne Leibel.
Yeah, Mark Callbaugh was in there.
He's looking too, checking the scoreboard to see how close he came. He goes, I can't believe that went through my hands either.
Both the defensive tackles, Callbaugh and Leibel, did the job, but still a 22-yarder. And it's 1st and 10, and it is Miller dancing to the left and down to the 40-yard line, or almost the 40, before Matt Rogers, the sophomore defensive end, got in there. And you talk about a rebuilding year, and you find a starting sophomore at defensive end. He's backed up by another sophomore. They've got a senior on the left side. He's backed up by a junior. They have 2 junior tackles with the 2 senior guards. So they're looking to, they really had not expected to be here this year, but here they definitely are.